On October 20, 1952, colonial police swooped in and arrested the men who would later be known as the Kapenguria Six, immediately transporting them under heavy guard to Lokitaung Prison in the remote, blistering wilderness of Turkana, a place chosen for its isolation, punishment, and almost certain psychological strain. First were the age disparities. Kubai was 35, Karumba 32, Oneko 32, Kaggia 30, and Ngei, the Alliance High School and Makerere University graduate, the youngest at just 29. Kenyatta, already in his 60 stood out as the elder of the group, a man whose calm and calculated demeanor concealed the immense weight of Kenya's freedom struggle on his shoulders. Because of his age, the guards spared him the harshest labor, crushing stones and digging graves on the rocky ground, and instead assigned him to work as the camp cook. But this apparent reprieve deepened resentment among the younger inmates, who watched him with a mix of suspicion and envy. One source recounts the bizarre anecdote of Kenyatta washing his head with the same water used to make ugali and spitting into it, and allegedly selling part of the kitchen rations to buy whiskey. Claims also circulated that he pocketed some of the money sent by sympathizers to support all the prisoners, further inflaming tensions. The situation reached a point where the other 5 refused to share a room with him, forcing wardens to allocate Kenyatta his own separate cell, isolating him physically even as he remained under constant psychological threat. At the same time, Waruhiu Itote, later famed as General China, was also detained at Lokitaung. Already marked by his own fame as a Mau Mau fighter, China was severely injured during his capture, bearing a bullet in his neck that he would carry for decades. Kenyatta, deeply stressed and suffering from eczema worsened by the harsh climate and poor hygiene, formed a bond with China, teaching him to read, write, and speak English. This mentorship and companionship would prove critical in the months ahead. Tensions escalated when the other 5 prisoners decided to sign the so-called observer letter, a decision both Kenyatta and China refused to endorse. This refusal fueled resentment among the younger inmates, highlighting the widening fracture between the elder statesman and the ambitious younger man. China's loyalty was cemented when he warned the district commissioner of a plot by fellow inmates to kill Kenyatta, a revelation that scuttled the plan and elevated China to Kenyatta's unofficial bodyguard. His duties included small but symbolic acts of defiance, like throwing government medication meant for Kenyatta down the latrine pit, protecting his mentor in every way possible. The danger became painfully real with the arrival of Kariuki Chotara, a 16-year-old convicted of 3 murders, whose star was already rising in the criminal underworld. Chotara attempted to kill Kenyatta during breakfast as the elder went to fetch water. Luck intervened when Chotara's trousers snagged on a wooden table splinter, slowing him long enough for Kenyatta to grab his arm. He shouted for China, who threw off other inmates trying to stop him and seized Chotara's knife. In the chaos, breakfast porridge spilled over both of them, and only the timely intervention of wardens prevented a catastrophe. Since Chotara was too young to receive the death penalty, he was transferred to Lodwar, sentenced to solitary confinement, a penal diet, and 12 strokes, effectively exiled to political Siberia. Chotara would later reappear during Moi's presidency as one of Kanu's most ardent supporters, famously dropping a gun during a speech and boasting that no district officer with training could outdo him. His political star began rising in 1975, but he died on January 9, 1988, at a Nakuru hospital, a year after allegedly predicting his own death. General China, meanwhile, went on to receive military training in Israel, returning to Kenya to serve as Assistant Director of the National Youth Service under Jeffrey Griffin, a position he held until 1984. The bullet lodged in his neck during his arrest was finally removed in 1988 and, in 2010, donated to the Kenya National Museum by his wife and stepdaughter. a tangible reminder of the peril he faced protecting Kenyatta. He later died of a stroke in 1993 at the age of 71, leaving behind a legacy of loyalty, bravery, and service. This close call at Lokitaung, where a teenager with a knife almost changed the course of history, underscores just how fragile Kenya's destiny was. Had Chotara succeeded, the nation might have been plunged into chaos, altering the trajectory of independence and leadership forever. It was a brush with fate, a story of courage, cunning, and the extraordinary bonds forged under unimaginable pressure. Check out our other video, Inside the Grave of Jomo Kenyatta.